Hello, this is Jolie with Crochet Basics, and in this episode I'm going to show you how to make this super cute patriotic purse. The 4th of July is coming, and well, we can be patriotic all year long, doesn't matter, 4th of July is always nice. So it's 100% cotton, pretty easy pattern, not too bad. The motifs are a little hard to, but once you get the hang of it, it should be easy to work up. And so let's get this going. So what you need is I'm using sugar and cream cotton yarn. So I have red, white, and blue. I'm using, since this is a patriotic bag or what have you, it doesn't have to be. If you want to use a solid color or whatever, that's your choice. As always, a stitch marker, one of these if you have it. If not, a regular safety pin with a contrasting color, just so that your stitches, it doesn't get lost in your stitches, which is what I always tell you. A yarn needle, if you have one of these, metal ones. A tapestry needle works too, actually. If you don't ever find, if you're in the craft store or whatever and you don't see one of these, a tapestry needle works fine. One of these plastic jammies work fine. And that's for sewing on these stars, and that's also for weaving in. Those work for weaving in. And also I'm going to use one of these parachute cord colored buckles. Okay, so this is what they look like, and these open up. So this is perfect, if you want to clip it on something or, what have you. Alright, and it you can also adjust the strap tighter and all that kind of good thing. Alright, so, oh, and a scissor, of course. And let's get going. So we're starting in the red, with an H hook, H8 US sizes, 5mm. So I'm starting in the red. And if you start with a slip knot, that's fine. I always say I wasn't taught that way, so I just do a little crossover on my hook and go from there. Alright, so we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And in that third chain from the hook, we'll do a slip stitch and a chain 1. And then that's your working loop. We're going to work right into here to start our rows. Okay, so for row 1, we're going to do half double crochets. So we'll do 10 half double crochets right into the center, and you'll crochet around that tail, and that saves on weaving and just makes it easier also to pull it tighter when you finish row 1, so that it closes up the loop if it's loose. So you'll yarn over, you'll insert the hook in the hole, pull up a loop, you have 3, and then you'll grab more yarn and you'll pull through all 3 loops back to 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 10. So you pull that tight and it'll close up that loop nice and tight, no big deal. Okay, so the next row we're going to increase. So you'll do a I'm sorry, I have the camera set so high. It's kind of uncomfortable. Sorry. Okay, so you'll slip into the first chain that you had made, that chain 1. All right, and you'll chain 1. And you'll do 2 half double crochets in each stitch around. So it's 20 for row 2, 20 half double crochets. Alright, so we're going to slip and chain 1. So now for this row, we'll increase again. You'll do 2 in the first, 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 in the next stitch, and then 2 in the one after that. So here's 1, 2, and then 1 in the next, and then another 2, and you'll repeat that all the way around. So you should end up with 30 stitches. Row 4, we're going to continue with our increases here. Okay, so you'll do your slip stitch and your chain 1. And then you'll do 2 half double crochets in the first, and then 1 half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then you'll repeat that around. So there's 1, 2 in the first, then here's 3, 4, and then you'll repeat that. So you'll do another 1, 2 in the next one over. Okay, so far 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. 1 in the next one over is 8, and then you'll do 9, 10 in the same stitch, and repeat that around. So you should have 40, of course. We're increasing, it's just so much easier to do it by the increases 10 per row when you start with 10 stitches. So in case you were going to make a different bag or some kind of something, it's just easier to do it by tens, you know, keep the counting even, and just makes it easier. Well, in my opinion, you know, that's what I think. Alright, so that's 4 rows in. You should be up to 40 half double crochets. So for row 5, if you're going to make this the purse, you'll do increase again. So you'll do 2 half double crochets in the first, then 1 half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1 half double crochet per stitch, and then 2 in the next, and you'll repeat that all the way around, and you should end up with 50 stitches, 50 half double crochet all the way around. So Okay, so that's row 5 with the increases. And you'll slip stitch, chain 1. All right, so we're going to increase again, and remember, a side note or a tip or what have you, if you feel your increases are bunching, if it's getting wonky, if it's not sitting nice and flat, you know, because it's the bottom should be nice and flat, fillet, you know, nice flat piece. If you feel that it's wonky and whatever, space out your increases. So you'll do 2 rows of increase and then a row of just regular straight and then add more increase. Okay, and that spacing out the increases per rows of increase should keep it from getting wobbly and, you know, wacky looking. All right, so what did I say? We're doing row 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, row 6. We're going to do our last row of increase. So you'll do 2 in the first. So 1, 2 half double crochets in your first stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in the next 4 stitches. So 1 per next stitch. So 1, 2, here's 3, 4, and then you'll do 2 in the next. And you'll repeat that all the way around. So that's row 6, and you should have 60 stitches. Just gonna slip so that I could measure it for you and show you what it looks like. I don't know if this, I have an overhead light on. I don't know if it's doing a good thing or not. All right, so we got about 5.5 inches across, which is pretty good. This is, you know, this is not a big bag. This is a small little, I'm throwing it over my shoulder. I got my lipstick, some cash, my ID, so, you know, so I can go to the bar or whatever, you know. Okay, so from here we're gonna start building our sides up and move on. So this is the right side. The side of the stitches that face you is the side the right side of the stitches. Okay, and then this is the back of the stitch. These are the backs of all the stitches I made, and that's the front. Okay, very good. Right here, this is, we crocheted around our tail so that we can tighten that up and all this. Now I do this all the time with hats and stuff because it's more or less, it's already kind of weaved in for you. Since you crocheted around it, you make a little knot and snip it right off. Not a big deal. I've never seen it, unless you crochet really loose, unless you have crazy loose tension. I've never seen that pull through, because in actuality it would have to get through every stitch that you crocheted around that tail, and that's a lot of stitches to you know, pull through. All right, so here's our piece, 60 stitches. So from here we're going to work our sides up. And this one I show you in a few different videos. This is one of my faves, favorite little tricks to do on the round bag. All right, so no increase on this. You can chain one to start this row 7. Sorry, my yarn is a little tangly. Okay, so here you're going to go in one side of the braid. So you're going to go right in between. I call it a braid. I don't know what other people call it. Alright, so right in between the braid, one side, and then you're going to pick up the sidebar, which is the sidebar is the wrapping from your half double crochet from the previous row. And you're just going to single crochet, and you're going to do that all the way around, and you're reinforcing. It builds, it starts, what you're doing here is it starts to build the purse up, more defined when working up. And it leaves a little ridge so you know where your bottom is and your top is, and you're reinforcing it by grabbing onto that sidebar so that you're grabbing onto two strings, you know, instead of just one. Because if it was just the one, that's just the one, and you get a nice big loop, and it's loose, and eventually it'll wear out. So, well, it's yarn, depending on how long you use your bag and how often or whatever. Okay, so to keep it from nice and more sturdy, give it a little more meat, you just go right through each one all the way around, and then you'll pick up here for the row. And you should have, what do we say, 60? Because this is row 7, and we got up to 60 half double crochets. And this row is single crochet, and now I'm just kind of babbling. Sorry. All right. Okay, so here we are where we started, where our ridge is, and you can go in and pick up that first chain. So this is what it looks like so far. It's starting to look like a little bowl. So doing good, going good. So from here, we're going to add in white, because we're going to do our red and white stripes. So have your white handy, and we're not cutting our red off. All right, leave the red unless you really need to cut it. Okay, so but we're going to attach our white, and we're going to do 2 rows of white. So you'll pull through in the white instead of the red. This is how we're adding our color change. No, come on, go through. I'm picking up a red here. All right. Leave a tail on the white so later on you can weave that in. Okay. So just pull it straight through the red. You'll pull your red tight. So leave the red hanging. We're gonna pick that up again. So from here we'll do 2 rows of half double crochet in the white. Just 1 stitch in each all the way around. So I'm crocheting around my tail here just to start the weaving process, you know. You weave a little, you pull it over a few stitches, and then you pull it back a few stitches the other way. So, but I'll show you how to feed the red up so that you're not leaving it loose, hanging loose. Just make sure you're not getting all tangled up or any kind of thing as you're working around with the extra strand of yarn hanging off. So from here, sorry, at the end of this row here, okay, you'll pull your red tight so that it's not hanging out. So what you want to do is you want to tuck the red over the white, and that's how it's going to hold it in place to feed it up. So you can do your chain 1 and your slip. Okay, so it doesn't show in the back, but it'll feed it up so that it's not just hanging loose on the inside of the bag. You could do that, like if you're doing tight stripes, you know. I wouldn't suggest, like if you're gonna do if you're gonna do like a whole block of like thick stripes, because eventually you'll get tangled up, and you know, it could get tangled up and it could get messed up, start showing through and not hold tight, you know what I mean? Maybe you know what I mean. So, and you just want to make sure that when you do that, that your loose tails that you're working with don't get tangled up. So just, you know, make sure that's not going to happen. So you'll do one more row of white, and then we'll switch to the red again. So we're back where we started here, and we're gonna pull up our red this time. So after you do your slip, so make sure you hold your white tight. So it's a little tricky, but not too much, I don't think. So you'll just pull through with the red and tighten up your white, and then we'll continue working 2 rows in the red. So you'll repeat that. Okay, so from here you'll do the same thing. You'll pull up your white and you'll pull it to the back. So it's kind of sandwiched in between, just so that it's not roaming loose in your bag. Okay? And that'll come out there. Alright, so you'll repeat this. Here's me not wanting to eat up all your time. Alright, you'll repeat this, wait, where are we? Okay, we're doing, what are we on? We just did row 10, if I'm not mistaken. I lost my count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, okay. We just we just did row 10. Sorry. Alright, so we just did row 10. You'll do another row of red, then you'll do 2 more. You'll do 2 more white and 2 more red, and then from there we'll start working in, we'll see what we got, and we'll start working in the blue. Alright, so you got row 11 is red, row 12 and 13 is white, 14 and 15 is red. All right, so fast forward to that, you know, so that's where I'm gonna come in at that row. So be ready to do row 16. All right, and you'll just be repeating the red and white stripes just like I showed you, and make sure you don't get tangled. And I will be back momentarily. So I just finished row 15, so I'm at row 16 now, okay? And just to show you what the inside looks like, with the feeding up of the stitches here, to feeding up the yarn. So it's all secured, you know, I fed it up as I went and everything, and I secured it with the color I was working in. So that's just a trick or whatever, you know. I wouldn't do it if I was doing like a big block of stripes, you know. If I was gonna do like, you know, 10 rows of red, I wouldn't feed the white up. I would just snip it and move on, add it back in or what have you. All right, so from here we'll do one more set of one more row of the white, and then we're gonna add in our blue, because, you know, we're doing a patriotic bag, red, white, and blue, because the 4th of July is coming. So just like I showed you, you'll slip stitch, and instead of pulling up the red, you'll pull up the white for row 16. Chain 1, and then you'll you could snip off the red. You're not going to need it. Leave a tail, blah 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 blah, all the stuff I usually say if you've watched any of my videos. And if you haven't, please subscribe. I keep good patterns, I think, and usually very easy to follow patterns and stuff. They work up quick and all that kind of thing. So, and I always have tips and tricks and hacks and all good stuff, right? All good things. All right, so one row 16 in white, and as you're crocheting, if you cut your red and you're going to weave that in, you could pull it, you know, feed it, crochet around it, and that helps with the weaving in for later, you know, for when you do finish your bag. Instead of just leaving, you know, all your strings in one shot to weave in, because then sometimes it gets bulky and you hit into your strings, you pull out other strings and stuff. Weird stuff happens. So from here we're going to add our blue in. Now with the blue we're doing a single crochet, not half double. We want a tighter stitch for the top because we're going to add in our motifs. And this, I don't know if the light, I have an overhead, I have a couple of overhead lights going on. I'm pretty much cooking over here, but I don't know if it shows, but if you could see it, it's called Dazzle Blue, and it's really a pretty blue. in case it doesn't show, if you know, but it is a pretty blue. Anyway, so from here we're gonna add in our blue. We can cut off our white, and we're gonna do a single crochet for the next 10 rows. And I'm about to get all types of tangled here. I can feel it because I'm loosening up my skein. About to get all types of tangled. So you can cut your white. We don't need that for now. Put it aside. You're going to need it later for the embellishments. Our star motif we're doing in this one. Alrighties. So you'll pull. You'll pull up your blue, same thing we did with the red, and left a big white tail there. Oh well, that's life. So you can continue with the chain 1. I was gonna do not the chain and the slip and stuff because I always like to work either way. Makes it easier sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. And what did I say? About to get all types of tangled. All right, so for the next 10 rows, we just did row 16 in the white. So now from row 17 to row 26, you're just going to do one single crochet all the way around with the chain and the slip stitch or whatever, all in white. I'm sorry, all in blue, not white. Sorry, I'm confusing myself now. All right, so if you need to pause it, because you know I'm not gonna show you every single crochet. That's a whole lot of single crochets, but you should still have 60 stitches all the way around. So this is what I have so far. And that's 10 rows. So I'm at row, I just finished row 26 in the blue. And we're at row 27. So for row 27, we're going to make our tab. I guess you'd call it a tab or a loop or some kind of something. And that's how we're going to hook on our little clip, our parachute cord clip, whatever, buckle. So these are smaller. These are smaller than the buckles. They're more narrow. So I show you in a different tutorial how to attach that. But maybe I'll get this open, maybe I won't. Alright, so I'm going to use the blue one because it matches. And I want it to, you know, blend for the most part, okay? So these are great. They open up and all that, so you can kind of stiff here, so you can attach your bracelets and things and what have you. Okay. Oy. Alright. So from here, you're going to chain 11 from your slip stitch, and then you chained 1, so you're going to chain 11. 2, 3. And then you're going to work back in a single crochet. So you'll skip the first one closest to the chain, and you'll work back in a single crochet, picking up 10 stitches. So from here, you're going to want to pick up a chain on the bag, stitch on the bag. So you'll just do a single crochet in the single crochet that's there on the bag, and then in the next one over you'll do the same thing. You'll do another single crochet and you'll turn, and you're going to work back and pick up those 10 stitches in single crochet. Chain 1, turn your work. Alright, so now we want to make sure this is going to fit. So instead of doing single crochet back, you're going to slip stitch all of these stitches one at a time straight down the row, so that it'll fit, because this is a smaller clip. So doing my usual single crochet back or whatever, you know, it's not gonna fit. All right, so just go in and slip each one individually. So once you get to the bottom, you can do a single crochet in the next one over, and if you want to just test it, you know, make sure it fits. Now this is always the pain in the neck part, because you want to make sure that you have it on correctly and that it fits and all that kind of thing. So this is where like a smaller hook kind of comes in handy if need be to, you know, push it through. So, but this is what it should look like. And this is the side, this is the adjustable side where you can feed through, you know, and tighten, what have you. And this is the side where, you know, it's not adjustable. It's just, you're gonna make a loop. All right, so that's what it looks like. Make sure you put it on right, you know, facing the right way and all that, okay? And if it's in your way, you could, you know, take it off for now until you finish this row. And then we'll, this row is just a single crochet all the way around. So this is row 27. So we made our tab, you know, to make, to attach our clasp, and then just one single crochet all the way around. And then I'll show you we're gonna crochet the tab closed. So I know it's a little weird or awkward or what have you to do it this way, but I don't know, I just I like doing it this way for some reason. I'm not big on sewing or any kind of thing, you know. I can sew, but I'm just not that fabulous at it and all that kind of thing. So row 27, after you make your tab, you'll one single crochet in each stitch all the way around until you get to your tab, and then I'll show you how to close that sucker up and make it nice and secure and all that kind of thing. Alright, so this is the end of row 27, and we made our little tab. So let's attach our clasp on here. And we used three stitches up when we made our tab. We used 3 stitches off of the bag to make that. So we're gonna make the stitches come back because we need those stitches. They're good stitches. We like those stitches. We need them back. So what you're gonna do, okay, real, you know, easy, or, you know, hopefully real easy, is you'll go through where your chain is at the end, okay, and just right around the base of where you did the stitches, and you'll do a single crochet. So that's 1 stitch is back here. All right, you'll do it again. You'll go in through. You'll go in through the bottom. So that's 2 back, and then the last one. And you can reinforce it more if you need to. If you're worried that, you know, it's not enough, you can always you know, go back in. Here, I'll do a 4th one for you. So, you know, 1 stitch added, 1 stitch taken away. It's not going to make too much of a difference on this, you know, but if you're worried about reinforcing. So we brought our stitches back, and we're attached, and we're good to go. So for row, that was the start of row 28 actually. Do 1 single crochet in each, and after that we're going to make our our closure. We're going to make this a cinch, I guess. Cinches are pretty easy. You just have to, you know, do the math. So for this row, for row 28, just count, you know, count out your stitches. Make sure you have 60, about 60 or whatever, because you're going to need to know Your count is probably going to be different from my count, and you know, all that good stuff. And count, you can count these stitches also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm at 5. So you can even see your seam. Alright, so I'm at 59, I think. So I kind of lost a stitch, but not a big deal. I can add it in if, you know. So from here, we're going to start doing our cinch, our double crochet. Look at how tight. I hate when that happens. I pull my yarn so tight. I give myself a nice big indent. So chain 2 from here. So 1, 2, and then we're gonna double crochet and chain to make loops for our cinch and the what's that called? Our strap. We're not gonna add the, you know, the strap in yet. Alright, so we got our first double crochet. So you're gonna count that as a humana. Count that as a stitch. Alright, so you'll do 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, right? Because we're counting that double crochet, and then you'll chain 2, skip 2. And go back in and do 4 double crochet, and you'll repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to slip stitch into the first chains that I made here, and see if I did it right. Sometimes my math is off as I'm doing it. Alright, I got 10 stitches here. 10 loops, I'm sorry, 10 stitches. I got 10 loops, I got 10 loops, 10 loops, and this is the side of the bag, so so I did it right. I got enough. Both of my, you know, I don't have my my cording ready yet, but they'll all, you know, as long as you have an even amount of loops, they'll come out in the same spot and you're good to go. So just show you. So far that's what that would look like. You know, with a regular cord, not my tape measure, but I wanted to make sure that I did it right and all that kind of thing. So here's our tab, which will be up, not, you know, drooping down. Okay. So always make sure that you have, you know, the right amount of loops or what have you, because you don't want to short yourself and, you know, continue working and not even realize it, you know. So, actually, Okay, so laid flat, since we're here and I got the tape measure out anyway. Let me show you. Okay, inches from underneath the loops here, and this isn't, you know, as always, an approximate. It's yarn, and it's on a curve, so it's not, you know, about 9 inches deep from underneath your double crochet to the bottom, you know, and it's approximate because it's curved and all that kind of thing. It's not a flat piece. All right, and across about 7.5 across. So it's a small, you know, it's a small little throw, you know, throw it over your shoulder, hook it onto your bike or your what have you, you know, and just a small purse for, you know, you can even, you can make your strap long enough and you can wear it as a messenger bag, you know, across the chest, over one shoulder across the chest. Okay, so from here, let's do a row of single crochet to reinforce our loops here. Row 27, we made the tabs. Row 28, we closed our tabs. So row 29 was our double crochet. That makes sense. Okay, so we're on row 30. All right, so you'll just pick up each stitch. You'll go right into your loops. And at this point, if you miss a stitch or whatever, it's not make or break. It's fine. It's not a big deal. All right, so you'll just go right in and pick up the 2 stitches and then move along to where your, you know, regular stitches are. So here's my last, and I'm just gonna slip. I'm gonna pull up a loop here. Okay, now here you have an option. If you like, you can do another row of single crochet, you know, just extra reinforcing and all that kind of thing. I'm gonna hold off on that for right now. We're gonna get ready to work our stars. So get your yarn needle, your crochet hook that we're using. If you want to go a hook size smaller, that's fine too. It'll make it like tighter. And your white yarn. Okay, so let's work our stars. And you'll make as many as you like. I think I'm going to do probably about maybe 4 or 5, depending, to fit on the bag, you know. So they're tricky to, as far as like if you're a beginner and what have you, they are a little tricky. But let's go, and I'll show you how to do it using the same size hook. If you start with a slip knot, do that. And I do not, I do a little crossover or whatever. So you leave a little bit of a tail because that's how you're going to get your placement on the bag, you know, hold it in place while you're, you know, sewing them on, because these are sewn on. And you'll chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and you'll go into the first chain you made, the third one from the hook, and you'll do 9 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, and you'll crochet around your tail. Very important to tighten up that loop. So that's 2, here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so we got 9 in. So now from here, you're going to slip into the first chains that you made. And pull through your loop. All right, and then you're going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'll skip the first one closest to the hook, and then you'll slip in the next one over. So you're going to slip stitch, you're going to single crochet, do a half double crochet. Now here in the last one is a double crochet, but it's a tricky one. You're gonna anchor your double crochet so that there's no loose gaping holes or any kind of thing like that. All right, so you'll yarn over, you'll push through. You have 3, okay, and then you'll go into your next your single crochet that's on your ring, and you'll pull up a loop. Yep. Alright, so you'll pull up your loop and you'll pull it through these 2. So you're back to 2, and you'll go through the next one, the next single crochet on your ring, and you'll pull up a loop, 3, and then grab more yarn and pull through all of them. Okay, so then you'll just chain. We'll chain another 5. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going to skip the first one, you'll slip, next one is a single, then a half double, then yarn over for a double. Okay, so you'll pull through, you got 3, go right into your excuse me, go right into the single crochets on your ring, pull up a loop, pull through 3, so you're back to 2, and then push through the next one. You got 3, pull through all of them, and that's how we're doing it. You're anchoring your double crochet, 4, 5, just so that there's no like holes or any kind of, you know, I always see star motifs and there's always spaces in between. So I you know, which, you know, however you do is however you do. But you know, my preference, I'd rather it to look like a solid piece. Alright, so you'll leave a tail for sewing. You might have to block. That's when you spritz the yarn a little bit with a little bit of water, and you kind of steam it. So, but this is what it looks like, the star. So, what you would do, okay, we got our tail, and you can make like, let's say, there's 1, 2. If you want to do, all the way around across, it would probably be like, 5 to 6 tops if you're going to do across, all the way around. So what you would do to sew it on is, I use a yarn needle. definitely. Where are my yarn needles? Okay. So tapestry needles, like I said, work very well also with the yarn, you know, and you want it to stay nice and tight. So you would anchor it on to where you want it using the center tail, and you would just go through a couple of times, you know. So this is where I'm going to put it, and just go back, you know, just a couple of times through the center so that it's nice and it's in place and everything. And then you would tie that off. All right, and then you would take the long tail from your edges where you know, crocheted the star points. Okay. All right. So you would anchor it on with that, and then from here you would just sew it on, but make sure you catch the points so that it doesn't curl up. And you might want to block. I haven't covered that or any kind of thing. I don't know, you know. I know some people watching my videos are like beginners, total newbies, whatever. And I know, you know, some people watching my videos are advanced. They, you know, they know what they're doing. They're just looking around and seeing what other people are doing, that kind of thing. So with this, with your long tail, all right, you would just go in from the back, and if you blocked them, they'll lay flat, you know. But you just want to catch it back and forth in each point, you know, and catch it to the end of the star itself, to the points, so that you know it's gonna stay flat and all that kind of thing. And you would just do that back and forth for, you know, for each one. So you should be okay. Like, you know, it should lay pretty well if you catch it straight down the middle. You know, if you're looking for a quickie or whatever, you can always try fabric glue. Okay, moving on to your handle, your strap. Now you can make your strap as long as you like. I'm sorry, wait, let me just hook this in. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, you can use a nylon handle, like a backpack handle from the store, if you like, if you prefer. Sew it on to one side, blah blah, and feed it through. The thing is that this is smaller than an inch. Those are an inch wide, almost always. I don't know if they make them more narrow or not, actually, but all the ones that I have, 5/8 or 15 millimeters is the size of your the clasp that we used. Okay, so from here you would cut off your yarn and attach it to the other side right on top, and you would chain, let's see, I'll show you in red because I'm not ready to cut my blue off just yet, because I do want to do another row of single crochet, but I don't want to hold you up, because, you know, who wants to sit here and watch silly me crochet. So I'm going to do another row of the blue, but I'll show you for the red, for the handle, whatever color you like, fold your bag in half, all right, so that it's, you know, even. You can measure it, you can count your stitches however you feel about it. I have 7.5 here on my bag. So even just right here is actually perfect. I can do that right there. I got 2 H's out. All right, confusing myself. I got an extra hook out for no reason. So you can do it right through the top if you like. If you don't like, here I'm all tangled. If you don't like that, you can always go lower and just add in going around your stitches, okay? But right in top, right here is perfect. Where is it? So you would attach, do a row of single crochet, not a full row, I'm sorry. Do 5 across in the single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is if you're going to do a crochet handle. Chain 1, turn. Now what you'll do is you'll crochet the length of the handle that you want. Okay, but when you get to, you know, like a little longer, because it's not going to fit through, and you're going to struggle like a crazy person. See the difference of the width? So when you get further down, you would just crochet this, the ends together, crochet 2 together, and then do your single crochet. So when you get to the part, because of the size of this, you're not going to want more than 3 single crochets together in the strap, at the bottom of the strap, because it's not going to fit. You're going to lose your mind trying to squeeze it in there and all that kind of thing. Just so you know. All right, so you could start it out wide. You could start your handle out pretty much as wide as you like, you know, of course. But then make sure that you drop some stitches and make it to 3. I think 3 single crochet across is pretty much as good as it's gonna get as far as squeezing it through the strap holder / adjuster. Okay, and as always, if you want to line it, always your choice to line it. If you want to see more of the tutorials, like if you feel like I'm jipping you, I'm not showing you enough, you need to see more, comment below and let me know, and I'll do extended versions. Not everybody catches what I'm saying or what I'm showing on the first time, and I think maybe that's it, because you know what, I get it. I read patterns, and when I read patterns and I try a pattern for the first time or the first couple of times or whatever, I try not to get discouraged, because you know what, not everybody is going to give you like the full write out. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you're like, increase? What am I increasing by? What do you mean? You know, like you get a little like thrown by how it's written, or, you know, how it's said to you. And I mean, like, you know, I totally get that. So if you do watch my tutorials and you need, you know, you feel you need more, let me know, and I will put up, you know, longer versions, extended version, or what have you, whatever you need to see. I always try to be very accommodating. You know, more or less I'm just happy anybody's you know, trying to work my patterns and stuff, because, you know, I put a lot of work into crocheting and you know, teaching myself different ways of making new items and stuff like that, you know. So all right, so say this was your handle, just to finish off, and all tangled. So you would feed it through, and you know, I like I said before, well, I don't know if I said it, but a small hook always comes in handy for stuff like this, like a smaller, this is a G, which is not what I'm looking for. Got my bag of tricks next to me as always, but a smaller hook or a smaller needle, you know, like a yarn needle, something to push it through, because it is tight and you know, it's a small thing. You're just trying to squish all this yarn through. All right, so hopefully you'll get it through, and hopefully I won't break this plastic hook. That's why I don't use plastic hooks. But once you get it going, a little snug, okay, and then you would feed it back through. And these are great, can I just say, shoving the crocheted yarn through these really makes them hold the yarn in place. Like, you know, with the nylon strapping, I always had, you know, backpacks and stuff, you know, school and all that kind of thing, I'm sure you have too, where they always slipped. The nylon always slipped out of the this thing, the adjuster, you know, the clasp or what have you. All right, so definitely no more than 3 single crochets across when you get to the length you desire. And almost there. So, and I think I put it through wrong. Actually, I think I meant to put it the other way. But here we go. I can't even see what I'm doing. I'm so funny. What am I doing? Okay. All right, and that's if you're gonna do a crochet strap. You can always sew on a nylon or a material one, or, you know, whatever you feel. You might have to block your stars, which you spritz them little spritz of water, and a cool iron, not like a scalding hot iron, like, you know, like a a not too hot of an iron. Treat it more or less like you're, you know, like you're ironing silk or something to that effect, or like, you know, because you don't want to burn up your stars. All right, and then maybe, like, you know, 6 stars, 5 to 6 stars all the way around is probably what you're gonna fit on here. And I think that's it. So with that, I did mention a water bottle holder. I'm gonna do it separate from here, and I think I'll show you the whole thing and not cut anything out, because you know, I hear you, you know, everyone watching my videos, I do hear you. I hear your complaints, and I hear, you know, your comments and stuff like that, and all that kind of thing, and I get it. You know, you're not seeing exactly what you need to see and all that kind of thing. So with that, I do hope you like making this cute little purse here. Perfect for getting through crowds and all that kind of thing. Sorry, my camera's so close up here. So, all right, and I'm not gonna finish my handle because I'm gonna do another row of single crochet in the blue. So I do hope you like making this. I'll show you finished pictures and stuff, as I always do, you know. And oh, I joined Instagram. Yay! I'm getting there. I'm a little behind the times here, you know, because this is not my full-time jamity thing, you know. I mean, I crochet full-time. I always got a hook somewhere on me. All right. I hope you like making this. I hope this comes out good for you if you do make it. If you need to see more, I will do an extended version of this, because I know I'm kind of cutting out. My camera's losing battery. And it's 1:30 in the morning. All right. So thank you so much for watching. As always, happy hooking, because it keeps you off the streets. It keeps you out of trouble. And always looking super cool to all your friends. And I'll be back soon with probably an extended version of this. So some other, you know, crazy tutorial. I want to do the water bottle. I'm going to do a water bottle holder, very similar to this, but more streamlined and all of that kind of thing. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. And please subscribe if you haven't already. I try. I do my best, right? All right. Thank you so much for watching Crochet Basics with me, K. Jolie. And look me up on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, and blah, blah, blah. Thanks so much. Have a super duper great day. Bye.